Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. Last week, a billboard went up outside of Vancouver billionaire Chip Wilson's $80 million mansion, denouncing the BC NDP as communists. Does it count as election advertising as per Elections BC rules? Here to discuss is my counterpart on the Soapbox Social panel, which you can find on CBC Radio's On the Coast with Gloria Makarenko every Thursday at 4:10 p.m. Representing Acumen Law, she is Kyla Lee, and this is Kyla's Court. So Kyla, I do not want to get sued by a billionaire because of this segment, so we have to tread very carefully, okay?
Okay.
Let's say I decide that in my front yard, I'm going to post a political sign related to an ongoing election. It either praises one party or it denounces another party. Am I allowed to do that as per Election BC rules?
Most likely not. Anything that is essentially praising a party or denouncing a party as a third party who's independent from any of those parties can count as third-party advertising or third-party sponsorship under the Elections Act. And as long as you've expended money to do it, like buying a sign or having a sign made, or even just the wood to put up your own sign that you paint yourself, that is essentially money that is spent sponsoring a party or sponsoring a campaign against a party, which would require disclosure.
What if I went tarp off and actually painted myself and just stood there throughout the day with a message?
That probably would not be third-party advertising because you're not really spending anything to just paint your own body. And it really does come down to sort of the expenditure of money to support a candidate or to denounce another one.
This seems not like free speech.
It's a limitation on your speech. Obviously, political speech in Canada is protected. Your freedom of expression allows you to express yourself, but all of your charter protected rights are subject to reasonable limits. And so in elections, they can limit your speech by putting in restrictions so that people aren't just going willy-nilly with their election advertising.
This sounds like tyranny to me, Kyla. I have to ask you, though, are there any consequences, not for Chip Wilson, we're not talking about him, but for anyone who, let's say, puts up a billboard in front of their home? Are there any consequences that they might face?
If it is determined to be third-party sponsorships and there's not proper financial disclosure made and proper filings made to Elections BC, then they could face fines. And, you know, obviously the fines are not a lot of money.
How much money are we talking about?
$500 usually is the amount of a fine, so not a lot to a billionaire.
Wow, that's it.
That's it.
There's no other sort of sanctions that they can do to really deter this behavior? Because I feel like if you have the money, you might just do it again, right?
It's essentially a provincial offense. So there's very limited things that the government can do to sort of restrict you in provincial offenses.
If I had a bullhorn outside my home and was just yelling political slogans on my property, that would be fair game?
As long as you didn't buy the bullhorn for the purpose of yelling the political slogans. But if you just own a bullhorn, yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. Does Elections BC, in what you've researched, do they actually crack down on this, or do they kind of just tell people, hey, you can't do that?
They have cracked down on it historically. Certain people have, during municipal and provincial elections, been fined for failing to disclose third-party sponsorships, but it doesn't happen a lot, and it doesn't happen as much as the third-party sponsorships are actually occurring.
Fascinating. Kyla, I appreciate your time tonight, and hopefully some notable billionaires are watching this just, for next time.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Carol Taylor. You'll see more of her up next. John Cooper and cool Kyla Lee for tonight's show. If you have any thoughts or if you'd like to share your deepest, darkest secret with me, shoot me an email, mo@thisisvancolor.com. I promise it's in the vault. Also, follow me on X or TikTok @VANCOLOUR. Next week, we're going to convince you that this was truly the worst election campaign ever, in dire need of more memes. But for now, this is VANCOLOUR, and I'm Mo Amir, telling you that in a province where you can be anything, be colorful. Peace.